Today we're going to make Mother's Day cupcake. And I made variety of frostings, variety of flavors. It took me pretty much all day because I wanted to make the best out of it. But before I start this video, I want to dedicate this video to someone very special to me. My daughter, Michelle. I practiced this so many times. I'm trying not to cry, but each time I say her name, I'm about to cry, but I'm not gonna cry, okay? And as a matter of fact, Michelle became a mother herself 5 months ago. And every time I see her, the way she nurtures her baby, loves her baby, it touches my heart. And I'm so proud of her. But today, I want to go back when she was only 7 years old. She wrote me a card, Mother's Day card, like this, and she attached her picture here for somehow, and she started writing in Mongolian language. She said, "My beautiful mom, I love you so much." And here it goes in English. "I love you, Mom, so much. I like her dinners. I like to stay with my mom. I like to give her flowers. I like to help my mom. I like the cakes she made so much. And I like her singing voice. And I like her hair color. It's the same color as mine." And then she wrote her name in Mongolian language. How sweet that is. Whew. Our kids always watching us. Every little things we do, they see it, they feel it, and one day they remember it. Every word on that card still reminds me today who I am, why I cook, why I bake, why I create, and why I show up in front of you every week. You are the reason, Michelle, my daughter, my sweetheart. I love you so much. Let's get started. This is actually my mom's recipe. She loved this cake, and she used to make it, and then she used to bake it into the round pan, and then she would frost it with some butter frosting, and then she would crush some peanuts and then sprinkle over the frosting, and then she would cut it into 8 pieces. Oh my goodness, this is very rich, flavorful cake, and I loved it. So I cannot be quiet about pricing. That's one of my main things that I always like to include into my content. The whole cake batch costs me $3.50. And then when I add frostings, fruits, and fillings and everything, this is going to make 20 cupcakes. And for the whole 20 cupcakes, with this fancy box that we're going to put at the end, and even with the ribbon and some chocolate that we're going to put it in, all together costs me $13. Okay? So as you notice, I'm adding the egg one at a time. If you have KitchenAid mixer, yes, sure, you can use that, makes things much easier. But I'm assuming that a lot of people do not have KitchenAid mixer, the standing one. So that's why I'm intentionally using my hand mixer to show you this is very doable and possible to do with a hand mixer. And we're going to bake this cupcake at 350 Fahrenheit, about 18 minutes. But everybody's oven is a little different, so make sure you check it in between. And I just added baking powder. As far as the baking powder, you always, if you do not bake much, and if your baking powder has been sitting around long time, and if it's not sealed well, it can become not very active. So there's a way you can check it. You can put 1 teaspoon of baking powder into hot water, and it's supposed to bubble. If it bubbles, that means it's still active, it's good to use. If it's not bubbling, then you have to either throw it away, or oftentimes I, clean my dishes with it. So go ahead and preheat your oven. do not ever bake anything, bread, cake, cookie, anything in the oven that's not heated to a certain temperature. It's already smelling really good. It smells already really good. Okay, it feels nice and smooth. Okay, that's good enough. We don't want to over mix it because we don't want to form gluten and makes this cake bready, gummy. So you fill up this cupcake liner, about 2/3 of it. And I'm using this natural parchment liner because in the past I used some of those colored cupcake liners, and then it left some stain in the bottom of my muffin pan. And I was not happy about that, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm eating a lot of food color. And then I was reading about it, and I found out that some of those strong colored papers can leave some stain during this baking process because the grease penetrates through that paper. Okay, so I'm going to make some extra jam, blueberry jam, so then I can just later on use it, eat it with bread. So I'm going to mix some sugar and blueberry, and we're going to cook this until the sugar dissolves. Talking about the blueberry jam, me and my mom used to go to farm in beginning of July in Maryland, and we used to pick up a tons of blueberry and then make lot of blueberry jam using just blueberry, sugar, and pectin. And then we just put it into, a lot of glass container, and then eat it throughout the year. Sometimes it would be a nice addition if you just put it into plain yogurt instead of adding sugar. You can add this jam. It tastes really, really good. So today I'm using cornstarch instead of pectin because I wanted to make sure this one becomes a little thicker. So once I fill up my cupcake, it doesn't spill out. So I used about 2 tablespoons of water and then 1 tablespoon of cornstarch for this, and then 1/2 cup of sugar and 1 cup of fruit. And then I'm going to add about 2 wedges of lemon. And depending on the thickness, you can put less cornstarch or more cornstarch. You can play with that. But for this specific recipe, I used 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and then 2 tablespoons of water. Mix it. Don't put cornstarch directly into the jam. Also, always make sure you mix it in the water first. And then 1/2 cup of sugar and 1 cup of fruit. So we're going to transfer this into this glass bowl so it can cool down faster. And I'm going to boil my strawberry in my pot. Look at that beautiful blueberry color. Very pretty. Now the cupcake, it looks like it's ready. Nice golden color, smells great. I've been baking many years, so I can just, by looking at it, I can determine whether it's done or not. But for you, if you're new to baking, you can press with your finger, and if it bounces back right away, that means it's done. Or you can insert some toothpick, and then if it comes out not moist, few crumbs, that means it's done. So we're going to take it out and put it on this board, and we're going to let it cool down. Same measurement. 1 cup of fruit, half cup of sugar. You can definitely lower the sugar. I intentionally left some big chunks of fruit because that's just how I like it. You can chop it in smaller pieces if you like. And I'm adding the cornstarch here. And I'm going to remove a little bit of juice from each jam so I can mix it with my frosting. And then the jam, we're going to put it inside the cupcake. You see, I'm removing some liquid from this jam, not the fruit, liquid, because I'm going to mix it with frosting. Make sure there is no big chunk. If there's a big chunk, it's not going to be piped through your piping bag and piping nozzle. Okay, I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm trying to temper the chocolate here. I've tried a few times before successfully, but I'm not very expert of this, but I'm going to try my best. As far as with the temperature of this chocolate, it needs to reach up to 115 to 120 Fahrenheit. We put the chocolate in the bowl and put it over this steaming water to melt the chocolate. So once it's reached to 120 Fahrenheit, we're going to remove it from the stove and we're going to add some added chocolate to cool down to 90 Fahrenheit. So this is called chocolate tempering. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make some chocolate disc so I can put it over my cupcake and I can write, "I love you, Mom," something like that. So that's my intention. So in other words, if you don't want to do that part, you can skip this part. But I really want to become expert of tempering the chocolate because you can even mold into different shapes and make your own nice chocolate. We used to melt chocolate a little different way, and then we used to decorate cake when we were little. So the temperature was still higher than 90, so that's why I'm adding more chocolate into it. So the idea is reach it to 90 degrees, 90 Fahrenheit. As you notice here, I'm taking a long time to get it right. So once it's down to 90 Fahrenheit, we're going to put it on parchment paper and then let it cool down. Let's see, still not reached to 90 Fahrenheit yet, but we're getting there. Okay, so finally, so we're going to put parchment paper on some cutting board and I will try to make some chocolate disc. There's many different ways to temper the chocolate. Some people put it into the microwave. Some people just use the technique that I use. But it's definitely some skill to temper the chocolate right. If you don't do it right, once it's cooled down, when you break it in half, it's going to be very soft and it's going to melt in your hand very quickly, and it's also not going to snap when you break it in half. It's going to be very dull. So then you know your chocolate is not tempered right. And it's gonna, if it's not done right, it also can look very dull. But the nice thing about it is, though, if you do it wrong, you can restart using the same chocolate. So you can fix it. I have done that in the past. I just like to experiment a lot of things. Okay, now we're going to make a little hole into the cupcake because we're trying to fill this up with some fruit jam. You can use some knife, or some people use the frosting nozzle, but I just happened to have this tongue which had this sharp end, so it was very convenient to use, make this hole. And this part is completely optional when you make the cupcake. You don't have to do this way. You can just make the cupcake and you can decorate it. But I want to make this a little more special because it's for Mother's Day. And then real fruit. I like real fruit. That's why I'm putting extra time to do this intentionally. Okay, now we're going to make the frosting. This is cream cheese and butter. And this frosting is going to be a little runnier than regular frosting. If you want to make it more stiffer, you can add more sugar. But you will see here that I'm going to make it a little more runny, and then I'm going to put it into the fridge to cool it down. So that way I'm able to frost my cupcake. Like that, a little bit of salt to balance that flavor. So this is sifted powdered sugar. The reason I put it back into the fridge is because I felt like this one has a lot of sugar, and then I didn't want to add more and more sugar to make it stiff. That's why I put it in the fridge. And if you want to have some lighter frosting, there's another recipe in my channel when I did just a regular cupcake, and that frosting is really nice and fluffy. That frosting does not require any butter and very little sugar, and it's just pretty much cream cheese and whipping cream and little sugar. I divide this in half and put my two different fruit flavor in there. So one needs to have blueberry, and the other one I'm going to add strawberry jam juice. Okay, the color looks pretty good. I think the strawberry one is going to be a little bit of pale, but it's okay. And then I just kind of kept some of that white frosting. I just got 2 spoons of that. I'm going to use it for my chocolate disc. You hear that? Nice snap. It came out pretty good. Not super shiny looking chocolate, but it came out pretty okay, considering that I don't have much of experience of tempering the chocolate. And I wish this nozzle was a little smaller, then I could have written even nice and small. Okay, I believe this is nozzle 2D. And now you see it's cooled down. That's why it's more It has more body, so you can frost your cupcake. If it's summer, hot outside, this cupcake, unfortunately, the frosting is not going to last long outside in hot summer, but indoor, a couple hours, it's okay. So we're going to actually put the cupcake into the box. I bought it, the box you see on the side right there, the white box. I bought it from Amazon, and each cost me about $2, $2.50. It comes as 6 packs in one box. And I used some mint leaves. So I'm just going to put it inside this box. Just kind of give you idea that you can give it as a gift. This one we're doing it for Mother's Day, but you can literally make it like this and give it to somebody as a gift. Imagine you giving this very handmade, heartwarming gift for less than $15 that you put time into it. So we're putting our chocolate disc into it. The first I decided, I was thinking about laying it down on it, but since I have all this beautiful fruit, I have no choice other than sticking to it. And then just put the ribbon around it. Looks beautiful to me. Okay, I'm very happy with the result. It's time to try it out. Nothing can beat the real fruit. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.